Hey, it's Alex. I'm here with Naonne, and he's a member of Business Mentor Insiders. And how long have you been a member of Naonne, and what does your business do that you just started in BMI?
I've been a member since June 2020. It's December now, so almost 6 months. And my business, I sell Facebook advertising services to other businesses.
Okay, yeah, cool. And what are some results you've been seeing? How well is your business doing in terms of just financials and the amount of clients you have and stuff like that?
The business fundamentally is doing really well. I would say right now I have 9 clients. I've had as many as 13. I've lost a couple, and I've also actually fired a couple. One of those has come back as a consulting client, which is pretty cool. But yeah, financially we're doing really well. This past month I did just over 14.6 in total revenue.
Okay.
We're 3 days into the month. I'm at like 7-8 grand already in revenue. I think I'm in total retainers that are like, already pretty much paid. It just, the date hasn't come up to charge their account, and the clients are happy. There should be around 15.5 in income this month. And so, I think I'll get a few sales and
you're already at 7 for this month?
Maybe 6.
6.
But
Okay.
but yeah, I think between 6.
It's only the 4th. Like 6 is amazing, man. The 4th.
So I got a $4,000 revenue share from one of my clients, because he did. I closed him like 3 months ago on a revenue share agreement, and so the biggest payout was from last month, so it paid me out $4,000. So that was nice. And then I've had one retainer pay, one pretty big retainer pay in, and another one actually is due today or tomorrow. I haven't checked, so I'm counting all of those 3 things pretty much.
That's good, man. Your clients are behaving properly. They're paying out the revenue shares.
Oh yeah. I mean, I jump on a call with them every week, so that's part of my process. I jump on a call with most of my clients every single week, and so just on our regular call, before it ends, hey, your revenue share is this amount. So I want me to send you the link. Cool, they'll send it, and just pay it right then and there. So, but yeah, I mean, when you make someone look, when you do well, people love you. So when you're making people money, you're helping them grow their business, they want to pay. There's no having to get it out of them.
Interesting. Okay, so you've only been in business half a year. Do you have any previous experience with Facebook ads?
Yeah, so I started doing Facebook ads actually in like 2012, but only like as a hobby. And I did it for businesses, but as a hobby level, I should say. I had a full-time career as a salesperson, and then eventually as a sales manager, and then eventually as kind of like a sales director. I just ran a huge department inside of a much larger store or business. So I always kind of had the people who did Facebook ads report to me. So I was always kind of looking over their shoulder, seeing what they were doing. And I was just kind of storing information the whole time. But as far as doing it every day, like the way I do it now, I just started doing this 6 months ago. So I was familiar with all the terminology. I was familiar with all of it. I was familiar with a lot of how it worked for a long period of time. But as far as putting all that knowledge to day-to-day practitioner level, I didn't start that until this year.
Okay. And has the revenue been consistent? Like, what has been the trajectory so far? Because I assume you didn't start at 14,600 in the first month, right?
No. So I think, my first month in BMI, I didn't really do much. I still had my job, but for what I appreciate from BMI and what I did the most was I just kept reading all the posts that everyone else was putting up. I had my job, and it was just taking so much out of me that I really didn't have time to dedicate to my own business. But I'm glad I would constantly repost, because it kept me motivated and kept me like in the loop that I needed to start creating time. And then my talks with Paul as well, who's my accountability coach. So probably into month 2 of being in BMI is when I really started doing more like actionable work, besides just jumping on calls and looking at and reading people's posts. And then I think it was I was probably in BMI for like 2 months or 2.5 months when I quit my job. I pretty much had saved, by that time I'd saved up enough money, and I'd given myself a date of like, I'm going to save up X amount of money, and by this date, I'm going to leave and start doing it full time. And like my job kind of needed me, and so I stayed like a whole another 2 or 3 weeks after that.
Okay.
But it got to the point where I was just like, all right, I gotta go do my thing, because I could see all the opportunity just from reading what everyone was doing, and the little things I was doing, they made sense. I've been running a business. I've been running departments that did between $1 million to $2 million in sales for 3 years. So, I'd seen business play out so many times that I could look into being and what was happening with what was being taught in BMI and know that it's working. I'm like, all right, I'm over here doing this and this stuff's working for these people. And I've got every bit of ability that they do. Why am I not doing that? So once it got to that point, I was like, I had to quit my job. I quit my job. And then my first month, so I would say my first month full time, I don't know, I made maybe $3,000.
Okay.
Second month, I don't remember exactly, but probably between 5 and 6. Third month is really when I started doing really well, when I made 12.8.
Good. And what's the profit margin now with the 14.6? Like, what's the profit margin?
The profit on that was $9,100.
That's okay. That's a decent profit margin.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
So spent about $5,000.
Yeah. What do you currently do? You outsource everything or part of it? Do you outsource delivery?
Well, so I'm actually going kind of left field on how I handle like getting things done. I kind of do it all myself in a way. So I have one media buyer who's really good, and I pretty much just anything I don't have time to do, I just have him do. And he's pretty good. But what I've found in using outsourcing media buyers, they don't pay attention to detail the way I do.
I mean, of course, yeah.
And so with them not paying attention to detail the way I do, that the client's suffering at the end of the day. And so I have revenue shares. I didn't start with revenue shares, but now I have revenue shares with every client. And so I'm like, if the client's suffering, I'm suffering. So I really got to make sure I get the most out of the ROI, so I can make the most money as I can. So I actually hired he used to be a salesperson in one of my departments. I hired him because he's a natural salesman, and he's young enough that he can still learn. He can learn Facebook ads, and I'm teaching him slowly but surely. And then I actually stumbled upon another very talented young person who I'm also training. So I'm training both of them, like to just do it my way and just look at things the way I do it. And I'm kind of working through them as they learn and get better. I'm just like delegating different tasks to them. So that's going to be a very slow process. So it still feels like I'm doing all of it because I'm doing it through them. And then the other half of it I am doing myself. And then I have a good quarter, maybe less than a quarter of the work that I outsource to my media buyer.
Okay. So the expenses are
paying all of them.
Paying all of them. Okay.
Paying all of them, all the software, which is not much.
I think you're paying people quite a lot, actually. They should be doing the delivery for that amount of money, because that's a significant chunk of change. It's
No, I think, well, my strategy, like, I'm not part of it. One of the people I hired, he's talented. He can pretty much, he can go work and he can go to sell cell phones and he'll make the same amount of money I'm paying him. So it's like, I kind of, until he's ready, I just need to pay. I'm kind of overpaying him until he's ready to pick up more. But at the same time, he also understands that. So I can just throw as much work as him as I can. So as he's learning and as he gets better, he's pretty much going to wind up doing media buying completely. And I'll pretty much pay him the same thing I'm paying him now, but I'll be making more money off of him.
Yeah, you should be hiring him full-time, 8 hours, 9 hours a day, and then have him.
No, he works full-time. Yeah.
Oh, he does already?
Yeah, he's here in the office with me. Yeah, he works here full-time.
Oh, he should be doing all the media buying then. All the media buying.
Yeah, no, he's doing as much as he can within the retail, within the attention to detail. So I just he does, but I micromanage him, and then a lot of times I'm just like, I can do it quicker, so I'll just do it, and I'll have him watch me.
I think you guys when you build processes, because I mean you're barely in business, you just started, but when now that you have some money to invest in stuff and some time, you can build processes, and then you'll notice you can once you have more volume, you'll be able to get to 85% profit margin and have someone else do all the delivery, right? With you doing maybe the strategy, maybe right? Maybe some client calls, right? And then the rest, business growth only. That's what I think is going to happen. But this is normal. I mean, you're at the spot where everyone is at this stage of their business, so it's normal. They're actually a little bit ahead in revenue as well, so that's good, right? You could pay yourself a 6-figure salary right now if you wanted to. I wouldn't do that, but you could.
Right.
So that's good. That's interesting. And what have you learned so far in BMI?
Man, so much, lead gen is definitely huge. The BMI process for lead gen is huge. All the examples you get, the sales processes that we're using, huge.
Are you using the script or the older?
I've adapted to the newer one. So I made my own out of the old one. And then I've updated my own with the new one. And it did help a lot.
You update, you use the version of the script, basically. That's what's going on.
Yeah, I use a version of the script. So yeah.
Okay, I understand.
I do a 2-call process. So I had to customize it into making it a 2-call process.
You do. What do you charge your clients? It's about 2,000 now, or how much is it?
Yeah, I do retainer plus build fee or setup fee, plus rev share. So retainers are averaging between 1,500 and 1,800. Setup fees are right now they're around 500. For this month moving forward, I'm going up to like 800 to $1,000. And then rev shares are they customized based on the margin opportunities with the client.
Okay, that's pretty decent. Above 2K is serious, by the way. When a client pays you 2K and more.
My past gigs have all paid above $2,400 or $2,300.
Yeah, that's really good, man. For this type of stuff, it's really good. Yeah. And you got there fairly quickly, so that's good as well. And it makes sense to do a 2-call process with real businesses. They're like testing all these freelancers and stuff like that. Is that what's going on?
I have one situation where they're testing a bunch of freelancers, and I didn't pick up on it, but it's okay because I charge them a lot of money, so I really don't mind.
Yeah. Well, we could talk about that for a long time, but that's not what the video is for. So I don't want to, but I'm not going to go into that. But anyway, so what else have you learned? Have you learned hiring and automation, perhaps?
Yeah, for sure. I have a VA that does most of my lead gen. 65-70% of it. And I hired that VA through the BMI process. Actually hired 3 through the process. And then
you hired 3?
What's that?
You tested 3 or you hired 3?
I tested 3. Yeah. So I tested 3 different VAs and I landed on one who's really good. So she does her thing every day now. So I just, and I have her email me a report every day of how many proposals she sends, and I can kind of go in and check it when I want to. But, I see the reports come in every day. I see the proposals get sent out. The quality is good. I get leads pretty regularly.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's amazing. Not having to spend as much time on lead gen, that's perfect. Are you building multiple funnels? We don't have to go into types of funnels, but are you building multiple funnels yet?
Yeah. So my plan is I'm gonna focus this month on kind of the current funnel. The next funnel, I'm gonna start another type of funnel next month. So I'm gonna maximize the one I'm using right now. So I've only been using one right now so far. And then I'm gonna maximize that one towards the end of this month, and then going into next month, I'm gonna start another one that should be even better.
Right. Okay. Awesome. So, and how many mentors have you had so far? So if you count them all up, so you had something for delivered, like what type of mentors have you had so far?
So let's see, at least 2 for sales, probably 3, actually 3 for sales. I'm counting you in the sales category, I guess. For lead gen, 1, actually 2. For delivery, 1, 2, 3. I'm just gonna throw one more in there for safe measure, so 9.
9 mentors. Yeah. Do you need that many mentors? It's only been a few months. Do you need that many mentors? What's the benefit of that?
I mean, it's good to have like a specified mentor for each specific part of the business that you're struggling with that particular time, you know. Do you need that many? Maybe not. If you want people, I think what's cool is that all of these different people all run these businesses or their own businesses, and so they're taking the time out of their day. So, you know, you don't want to bug some. I wouldn't want to bug somebody any more than once a week. So, you know, when I need this question, I go to this person at this time, this question, this person at this time. That's pretty cool. You know, I like it. I definitely appreciate it. You know, I can be going through my week and hit a problem. I just jot down the question. And then on that next call for that particular problem, bring that up. And like that, I got a solution that I can apply to my business. So it's pretty cool.
Interesting. Okay. Okay. I like the fact that the different mentors usually have competing opinions, because certainly for sales, there's competing methods in BMI. And then you can test things for yourself, especially if you have a little bit of sales experience. If you don't just follow the standard process, it works, right? But if you have sales experience, you can mix and match.
That's exactly what I did. I mean, I definitely am thankful that I had such a good career in sales and I did so well, and I could take what I learned from that, and I just kind of looked at the process. I did to get like 2 or 3 different ones, and just kind of pulled little pieces. I was actually on one call, and I remember this very particular call where I was trying to figure out, without going into too much detail, there was 2 pieces to a puzzle that just weren't connecting for me, and in my head, and I'm just like, this isn't meshing for me. And I got on a call, and I think it was with Josh.
Yeah.
And Josh told me about his 2-call sales or he said he has a 3-call sales process, but he said some people might want to do a 2-call sales process. And I was like, that's it. Split it into 2 calls. And that was like the final piece of the puzzle for me that I was trying to piece together in my head. And then once he said that, it hit me. I put it into 2 calls, and that process has been working very well.
Okay. I may ask him what that is. Perhaps it's worth testing. I mean, I certainly would charge a lot more if I had to talk to someone twice, though.
Yeah, I mean, and then part of it is too, you know, you do some work too. So I pretty much do a whole strategy, you know, that some people charge a lot of money for before I get on that second call. And so when I get on that second call, it's really 2 things in one. It's my second call, but it's also the first call of our contract.
Oh.
Because in one call, I'm explaining to you what I'm going to do, but I've already done all the research. So as long as you agree to it, this is also what we're going to do to start our agreement. So I don't have to go do any research over again. And so you could say, well, you're doing all the research, and what if they don't say yes? But that really hasn't been my problem. So.
Right. So the second call is because of the research, basically.
Yeah, because I'm putting the strategy together, and I do all of it. You know, I put the whole strategy together, and in my mind, it's like I don't want to have to do any more work after my second call. After they say yes and I take their money, I want to be done with it. As far as strategy goes and thinking about what I'm going to do, so I can just send an email to someone else, say, hey, go build this. And then boom, it's going to be done. It's going to be up. So I put all the thinking into that step. So when I get on the call with them, I'm just taking them through all my thoughts. And as long as it makes sense, which of course it's going to, if you're any type of intelligent in business, it's going to make sense. I'm just backtracking them through what I'm going to do to make them successful. Also, you know, obviously another part of the process, you know, you're showing them proof from other people's accounts. You know, once those 2 go hand in hand, you know, they're pretty much like, yeah, when can I get started? Most people actually say to me, all right, when do we start? Before I'm even doing my presentation.
That's good, man. Well, if it works, it works. So who is BMI for, basically? Like, who should be applying to this? Because you've seen who's applying, you've seen what's going on. So who should be joining BMI?
If you should join BMI if you really want to run a business. I mean, you got to really want.
Yeah, it's not for civilians with their nice little backyards and dogs who want to have.
If you have it in your heart and you want, if you have a backyard and a dog and a white picket fence, but you're willing.
But I mean, who want to just stay in a little backyard, have a little.
You can't be comfortable.
You just chill out with a barbecue every day.
No. You gotta be willing to get I'll tell you the worst part for me, the most painful part was the part before I built my lead gen process and I could automate it.
Yeah.
That was painful, man. You know, having to send, you know, having to do all this work for lead gen every day, and it's grueling work, you know.
Well, I mean, how many hours was it per day?
Oh, 10 hours, 12 hours a day.
You're doing 10 hours of lead gen?
Yeah.
Dude.
I was hungry, man. I wanted money.
10 hours of lead gen per day? It's the most I've ever heard in my entire life. The maximum I heard is like 4.
Oh, you know, I mean, I'd take a break every 45 minutes, every hour. I'd take a walk. I go eat, you know, but I'd put an entire day into lead gen. Yeah,
Oh,
for sure.
man. Well, how do you do that? Like, was it
I
just
don't do it anymore. Listen,
or?
I told myself, I've just got to do enough lead gen to build up enough income to where I can hire someone else to completely take over lead gen and I don't ever have to do it again. And I gave myself a month. I was like, listen, just do it in a month. It wound up taking me about a month and a week. But I just told myself, just knock it out in a month and then you'll never have to worry about it again. And now I don't have to worry about it at all. So it worked. But yeah, I mean, I just wanted the money, man. I was just like, I got to do this to get to the money. And then after this, it'll be way easier to keep the money coming in.
That is a lot of lead gen, man. But happy to hear you don't have to do that anymore. I mean, you just wanted to speed things up. Fair enough. I don't think most people do that, but if you did it, man. It's fantastic. That's you did what you had to do. Ultimately, that's how it works in business. Either you do what you have to do, or you work for someone else who makes you do what you have to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like you said, man, you do what you have to do. So for as far as who's BMI for, you need to want it. I mean, that's really that's how I got into BMI, because I met a BMI member who was doing really well. Oh. And I happened to tell him what I wanted, which was to make $1 million a month.
Was it Damiano? Who was it?
It was Damiano, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I told him I wanted to make $1 million a month, and when I said it, I brought up like how crazy it sounds, because I'm used to talking to normal people, and he was like, "That's not crazy. That's my goal." And I knew instantly.
For like next 6 months or something, yeah.
Yeah, I knew instantly. I was like, yeah, man, I want whatever program he's involved in. And then, you know, he told me about BMI, and I was already kind of sold, to be honest with you, because, you know, I haven't met so many people who are willing to even vocalize that they want to make $1 million a month. Most people are so scared of it, they won't even vocalize it. It's like Voldemort.
They don't want to tell you because you're gonna judge them.
Yeah. So and they're scared to even want it. It's like, you're scared to want it? Like, you might not ever get it, but you're scared to want it? And so now I wasn't scared to want it, and I instantly knew he wasn't scared to want it. And if he wasn't scared to want it, just the way we met, I knew he was already kind of successful. So I was kind of already in, and then, you know, I met you, obviously, we had the conversation, and I joined up, and I've never looked back. I think it was an amazing decision, but I definitely want it. And so if I would say who should be in it, there's a kid, and I can't think of his name, but there's a kid in right now who doesn't speak great English, and he's probably going to see this and know I'm talking about him. But he doesn't speak great English, but the kid fucking wants it.
Bulgarian guy?
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, of course he speaks English. Otherwise, we wouldn't let him in. But his English is not up to...
Not that great. But you can tell he wants it, man.
Yeah.
He wants it so bad. I'm like, it's for him. He needs to be in BMI, because he needs a bunch of other people who, because I'm telling you, his English is over here and it needs to be over here. And he needs people that are going to push him every single step of the way. He's in the right place.
There like a couple of months better. Like,
yeah. But in any other environment, he wouldn't.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I don't see him getting there as quickly in another environment. Whereas he's in the environment where he's definitely going to get there because he wants it. And it's clear as day that he wants it. And so I know he's going to get there, and he's going to do great, but he's in the right environment. And so, you know, you don't have to have this. I don't think you have to have the skills or the talent, man. I think BMI gives you all the steps you're going to need. You just got to want it. Intelligence
is necessary, though, but don't worry. I'll help you figure it out if anyone here watching this applies. All right. Thank you, Naonne. So I'll see you on the calls and see you in the group as well. And thank you for sharing your insights so far. I think we'll do a call at like 40, 50K. I'm sure you'll get there in, well, I'm not going to say how long. Half a year? 1 year? I don't know. Soon. Next month, man. Next month.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Looking forward to it.
All right. All right, that's it. And everyone watching this, live your life, man, and hopefully talk to you if you're one of the good guys or girls or whatever. Uh, talk to you soon, perhaps on an application called to Business Mentor Insiders at businessmentor.com. But that's apparent because it's probably on that website right now. Otherwise, it's in the description on YouTube.